Okay, this is a brief tutorial on how to use Skitch, which is a fantastically simple little annotation tool that you can use on your iPad or iPhone. The Skitch icon is a sort of crimson colour with a white arrowhead. I'm going to touch that. Once that's opened, down along the bottom of the screen you have some options of things you can annotate. The one that's opened up for me is what my camera can see, which I've got in front of me an iPhone box. If I scoot sideways, I get to my photos and I can open a photograph from my camera roll or one of my photo albums that I can annotate on. Moving sideways to the left, I can also type in the address on a map and I can go directly to somewhere on the world map, and using the snap button in the top right hand corner I can take a quick photograph of that map, which I can then annotate. I can also annotate a web page by searching for it here. Here's the BozTez website, and it will find whatever it is that I like using the search bar at the top, and I can, using the snap button, which is now in the bottom right hand corner, take a photograph of that website which I can draw on or annotate. I can also annotate a PDF document. If I've opened it on my iPad, I can draw on something that I've taken a screenshot of from my clipboard or start with a blank page. And there's also another option there for settings. For this tutorial we're going to start with a blank document, just so that you can see the tools nice and clearly. So we have a coloured spot on the left hand side and I have a tool on the right hand side which looks like an arrow in this particular case. If you touch whichever tool is visible on the right hand side, you'll see a whole range of different things you can use to draw on your Skitch item. In this case it's a blank document. I'm going to click on the pen, and that's going to allow me to draw whatever it is that I like on my screen. If I touch any of the things that I've drawn, I get a delete button at the bottom of the screen and I can remove them. I can also, by touching the coloured spot on the left hand side, change the colour, which are the items along the vertical there, or the thickness of the line that I'm working with, which are the horizontals. Again, if I just touch that line, I get the delete button at the bottom of the screen, so I can remove it there. I've also got options to type text on the screen, and just touching somewhere on the other part of the screen will show you the text box, and just touching that spot in the right hand corner will allow you to drag the text box to be smaller or bigger with your finger. You can also touch it once to highlight it if you want to work on it again, and double tap to bring up the text box in a way that will allow you to edit it. You can also grab those little side handles to grow or shrink the text. So if I grab that, that will actually bring it up bigger. So again, if I wanted to make that nice and small on the screen and move it around, I can just touch it in the center. I've got a whole lot of other little tools that are shown there. These ones are marks that you can put on student work if you want. There's also some boxes that you can draw around things, and again we can change how thick or thin they are and what colour they are by changing our options on the other side of the screen on the left hand side, and remove any of those items by touching them once and clicking the delete key at the bottom of the screen. Once you've finished your annotation, using the square with the arrow pointing upwards in the top right of your screen, you can then decide what you want to do with it. Again, we have options to save it into your photos. We have options to edit it or share it with other people. If we edit it and again push that little square button with the arrow facing upwards at the top of the screen, we've got options there to save it into other locations or to share it via mail or Twitter or into some other application that you want to use. You can also add a caption to the image if you press the option in the top right hand side of the box there. Pressing cancel and the cross icon in the top left hand side will allow you to discard your change or save to your photos. I'm going to discard that one. And now we'll just go quickly across to the option of annotating on a photograph. So I'm going to go into my camera roll and I'm going to look for a piece of student work that I know I've got in here that I wanted to annotate. There it is. Now, the options that we looked at on the plain drawing page apply also to images that we have in our camera roll. So using any of the images that I have here, I can annotate the student's work. So I've got a pen, and over here I've got a green colour, and I want to zoom in, so I'm going to just use my fingers to pinch out the student's work. And the current tool that I have is that pen tool, but what I can do is I can draw with my finger around things and put my mark on the student's work that way. I've touched that particular last annotation, which has turned it blue, and although it's hard to see, that's given me the delete option, which is showing on top of that pile of pancakes at the bottom of the screen there. And if I click delete, I can remove that last annotation. I can pinch with my fingers to make the student work sample a bit smaller, and then I can change my tool and my colour, and I can draw around things with boxes. I can add smiley face to the student's work, whatever it is that I want to do, and I can also annotate. Now that's a bit hard to see in yellow, so what I might do is just change the colour of that one to a nice red colour, and then touching it in the middle I can move it around onto the other part of the document that's a little bit easier to see. Now that I've finished that annotation, if I click the box at the top right hand side of the screen with the arrow facing upwards, that gives me the option, sliding sideways, to save to my photos. And now if I go back to my photos, I'll be able to find that work sample. There it is there, as the last piece of work in my camera roll with all the annotations on it. And I can then email that to someone or print it off or put it into Canvas.